They say there are two sides to every story, but how do you know which one is the right one? On today's case, Ms. Coffman says her partner, Mr. Sapp's drinking and controlling nature have affected every aspect of their relationship, from their bedroom to their phone plans, and she's had enough. Mr. Sapp says, not so fast. He says his drinking isn't nearly as bad as her gambling, and he's not happy about Ms. Coffman's penchant for disappearing. Is it too late to save this relationship? Let's hear their case.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Coffman versus Sapp.
Thank you very much, Ms. Coffman, Mr. Sapp. Ms. Coffman, you say for the last 8 years you have put up with Mr. Sapp's drinking and controlling behavior. You say you have had enough, and today he will have to make a choice, his vices or you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Sapp, you say it's easy for Ms. Coffman to point a finger at you, but you say the truth is that you both have contributed to the downfall of this relationship. Regardless of who's to blame, you hope you can resolve those issues today.
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's see if there is some resolution. Ms. Coffman, how did we get to court today?
You know, I love David. I do. Alcohol it's ruining not only our relationship, but his life. I worry about him. It's the stubbornness, the childishness, the controlling. I mean, I'm a grown person, you know. I don't need to be controlled. I love David. I do.
I don't try to control her, Your Honor. She wants to run off. She wants to go gamble. She takes my money, gets gone. There goes the groceries for the week.
So it sounds as if there is some contention as to what is going on in this relationship. I'm going to start with Ms. Coffman and ask her, take me back to when you first met, when it was all roses and daisies.
We met actually through a friend.
Okay.
We both had experienced loss in our lives.
Okay.
I had way more previously. He had just lost someone very recently close to his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the friend called me and said, "You're the best person I know to talk to someone about this." And we just connected on so many levels.
Did you all become friends first, or did you?
Absolutely. We were friends for a couple years first.
And then that platonic relationship turned into a romantic relationship.
Yes, ma'am. We ran into
I understand
each
you all
other.
have now been together 8 years, but living together 3 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is considered to be a pretty long-term relationship. So it started out, as I say, roses and daisies. When did it turn into something else, Mrs. Coffman?
His brother, he's very close with his brother. He spent a lot of time away from his brother. When they got back together, it was all about drinking, really.
Okay.
And he'd come home from work, because he worked every day. Yes, he did. He would come home and drink, and then I wouldn't see him until he'd go to bed, get ready to go to work in the morning, come home, and the same thing. And unfortunately, his brother had passed away, and that accelerated the drinking, which you can understand, you know, being in an upset state. And it was like, I didn't know the person I was living with anymore.
It's no excuse, Your Honor. I admit it. My drinking got out of hand. It just helped drown out the pain.
Yes, sir. Ms. Coffman, how did the drinking start to manifest itself as behavior in your relationship that has led you to this point, so that we can address those issues?
The control issues, where and when I could be somewhere, or where I could go out and do things. I had a bridal shower thing to go to. The bride wanted to go do a wedding fitting, a dress fitting. And I had said something about this ahead of time, even put it on the calendar, even about a week before. And then the day of, honestly, you would have thought I said I was going to a speed dating at a strip club, because, you know, all females are promiscuous, and when they get together, they don't just go and do things like that. They, you know, see other men and stuff like that.
Where were you going for Girls' Day? This is before your friend's wedding, right?
Yeah, to do the dress fitting.
Okay.
And to go to lunch.
During the daytime?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Sapp had a problem with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Sapp, tag your it. Why you have a problem with a Girls' Day?
She's lied to me so many times, Your Honor.
But she gave me a specific instance. Why did you not want her to go out for something as silly and as innocent as an afternoon of girls?
I can't believe her all the time.
So you thought she was lying to you?
Yes.
So help me to understand, Ms. Coffman, why would he think you're lying?
When I do get out, I will stay gone for probably longer than I should.
What's longer than you should?
Maybe overnight.
Okay, now that's longer than you should. If you're in a living situation with a partner.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. It's to the point to where when I can get out to do something, on my own or just to do something fun that I want to do, it's hard for me to come back.
But wait a minute, I want
right
to be
away.
very clear. Even if you wanted to stay out past midnight, you stay out to 2 a.m. Didn't your grandmother teach you ain't nothing open after 2 a.m. but gas stations and legs? What do you need to do out that late?
I stay at a friend's house. I stay at my best friend's house.
But why wouldn't you come home?
So that I could continue to do what I wanted to do the next day.
What do you want to do that you can't
She wants
come
to
home?
gamble.
Oh, help me, because I'm going to try to say no
gamble.
judgment. Let me know what it is you're trying to do.
The gambling, the fish tables stay open 24 hours a day.
But Ms. Coffman, why do you need to go and do binge gambling like that? Help me understand what's going on in your life.
It's something that I can do to get out of the house when otherwise I'm stuck in the house all the time. And if I do go do anything and I don't comply with what is said I need to do, then my things get packed up and put in the back of the truck and said they're going to be put in a drop box, the Goodwill drop box.
Help me, Mr. Sapp. Are you trying to tell me that if Ms. Coffman does not follow a certain set of rules and guidelines, you put her out the house?
Well, if she don't change her ways, I'm gonna pack her up and put her out.
So suppose she said that to you, because she basically pointed to you and the things that you've been doing as a reason for her to pack up and leave.
Your Honor, I admit I was drinking. I slacked up on the drinking. I've just had open heart surgery 3 weeks ago.
You know I had open heart surgery, right?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I didn't, but I know.
Well, I'm telling you right now, are you having drinks now?
No, ma'am.
So you've had no alcohol in the last 3 months?
No, ma'am.
Okay, because you do realize that you are now in the rehabilitation stage, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And to what did your doctors attribute your cardiac event? You had a heart attack?
Yeah, I had a slight heart attack.
Now, honey, if you had open heart surgery, wasn't a daggone slight about it. Because I know we could compare scars. I know exactly what you went through. Let me tell you, there is nothing fun or funny about that, and you can't just poo-poo it. When you get your chest cracked, in my situation, my heart was stopped for 22 minutes on that table. So, no, sir. You don't get to just go, ooh, no.
Had a quadruple bypass.
Do you know how serious that is?
Yes, ma'am.
Valentine's Day goes all out, and the only thing I asked, can we not, have the alcohol involved today? Okay, we can do that. I get up to go to the restroom afterwards, makes drink on the table.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a couple drinks.
No, but there's something wrong with having a couple drinks when you're an addict, and a couple drinks makes it to 20. That's when it becomes wrong. Now, here's my question. As a part of your rehabilitation, because I'm sure you are doing cardiac rehab, whatever it is your doctors have recommended for you, have you started to look at what things that are affecting your life that you might need to get rid of so that you don't have another incident? Have you looked at that, Mr. Sapp?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you making corrections to those things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Coffman, do you see Mr. Sapp making those kinds of corrections since his heart incident?
I can give to him that the drinking has definitely, it's amazing. But the damage that's been done because of it, like, for instance, we were at a barbecue at the neighbors, okay? And the drinking started, and that's when flirtation happens. That's when people drink, they, flirt. Ends up hitting on another man's wife, girlfriend, I'm not sure what. The man comes and says, hey, that's my, I didn't know if you know, that's my girl, blah, 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 And instead of, my bad, gets belligerent. Oh, what are you gonna do about it? Gets macho and stuff. It's the alcohol that caused him to be belligerent about it, and we had to leave. And that's embarrassing, and those are still our neighbors at the end of the day.
So in other words, he was the bad drunk at the party. Mr. Sapp, what do you say in response to that? Is that a true story?
Yeah, I got a little altercation, and she got me upset and wanted to leave. But she wanted to leave because I believe she wanted to go off gambling. That's what I think the real story
I think
of
you're
it is.
projecting a bit, Mr. Sapp, because the two of you like to do tit for tat. When one of you does something, the other one wants to retaliate by doing something even worse. That worked when you're 17, 18 years old. But when you're in your 30s and 40s, as the two of you are, at some point, that stuff got to stop. Or, why are you together? Ms. Coffman?
I do love him. I do. We've spent a lot of time together. We mesh very well together in many different aspects of life, and I've tried to look past these things because you can get over something like that, the alcohol thing. Like I said, with this heart surgery, the alcohol has been dissipating from the whole entire relationship, which is great. But like another thing, like Valentine's Day, goes all out, breakfast in bed, flowers, has dinner, this and that. And the only thing I asked, can we not, have the alcohol involved today? Just today. He's looking at me like, okay, we can do that. I get up to go to the restroom afterwards, makes drink on the table. And at 1, and then 2, and then how can you...
Bad. It's a special day, it's Valentine's Day. We're gonna have a few drinks, relax, we're already eating dinner, everything's going good. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a couple drinks.
No, but there's something wrong with having a couple drinks when you're an addict and a couple drinks makes it to 20. That's when it becomes wrong. And it's not wrong because I say it's wrong because it affects your body. And what affects your body affects your heart. And if it affects your heart, you could end up having to have a triple bypass, open heart surgery, which you and I both know is exactly what happened. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, you are. But when I wake up in the morning to go to work and there's a strange guy sleeping on my couch, I want to know who's in the house.
It's a friend from high school. I told him he could sleep on the couch. I did.
It's not appropriate for you to bring miscellaneous people home to the house. I know that might be your friend, but he's a grown man. Let him take care of his own business.
I agree.
At the very least, you owe him the courtesy of asking him if that's okay. If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. Mr. Sapp, I'm worried that you're not recognizing that it is damaging you in addition to damaging y'all. Since I'm Southern, you understand what I mean when I say y'all,
Yes,
okay?
I do.
And if you want a relationship with this woman, you have to, 1, want to save yourself, but 2, not cause damage to the relationship that you have. That's just a fact. And y'all are old enough, it's not like I'm talking to kids here. Y'all are old enough to know exactly what I'm saying. I don't need to lecture you. And you know I'm telling you the truth.
Your Honor, all over, but man, I got some issues. That's
Well,
all.
tell me your issues, because I'm a little
Well,
worried
the
that if y'all
gambling-
don't
the
talk
gambling-
about it, y'all can't get back to each other.
The gambling, it had me, Your Honor. But when I wake up in the morning to go to work and there's a strange guy sleeping on my couch that she said brought her home, I want to know who's in the house.
I
You
kinda
bring in
agree
my
with
house
you.
while I'm sleeping.
I'm 100% with you on that. So I'm going to do what I like to do. Tag, you're it, Miss Coffman.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
miscellaneous men doing sleeping in the crib?
It's a friend from high school, and he is having issues with his fiancée at home where she's getting violent, okay? And instead of allowing him to go back there to end up in jail and losing custody of his kid and possibly losing his job, I told him he could sleep on the couch. I did.
And why didn't you call Mr. Sapp and say,
Your Honor.
Joey is having a trouble right now. I'd like to give him a place to calm down. Is that okay? Why didn't you do that?
An assumption that would not be okay, and I wouldn't have allowed my friend's life to be changed, like I said, lose custody of his kids.
Girl, they got Motel 6. What are you saying,
That
Mr.
ain't all this
Sapp?
time, Your Honor. She took our grocery money, $200, and went and spent it gambling. She's got the problem on gambling, and then people coming to my house. I don't know. I don't want them at my house.
I think
know
Mr.
these
Sapp
got
has every
problems.
right to say that. Miss
We're not counselors.
He never says anything about how he goes gambling with me, though.
Miss Coffman, I'm still going to go back to this. It's not appropriate for you to bring miscellaneous people home to the house. I know that might be your friend, but he's a grown man. Let him take care of his own business.
I agree.
At the very least, you owe him the courtesy of asking him if that's okay. And I'm going to tell you all, I'm worried about addictive personalities matching with each other and how those addictions are manifesting themselves. But I get the sense that you both would like to have at least some strategies for dealing with this.
Counseling or something?
Okay, something. So I would say to you, I want to bring in one of the people that I rely upon when I need some extra help. How about that? Okay? So I've asked Mr. David Cohen to join me via video so that we can actually have a conversation. Mr. Cohen, thank you so very much for joining me. Tell me a little bit about your background so that our litigants know exactly what role you can play.
Okay, well, I think first and foremost, I'm a person in recovery. I've been sober since 12/12/1996, so going on 27 years now.
Fantastic, bravo.
Currently, I'm a licensed clinical social worker and clinical director of a drug treatment program in Woodland Hills, which is in Los Angeles.
And as a licensed clinical social worker, what have you observed in the last few minutes that you've had the opportunity to just listen to some of the testimony and our interaction?
Well, firstly, I think you've done a great job at summing up addictive disorders. But in this case, I do see compulsive drinking really getting in the way of David's physical health as well as his relationships. It's obvious that he has not processed the loss of his brother and instead buried those feelings through alcohol use and other defense mechanisms. I heard blame, I heard minimizing, I heard projecting, like you mentioned, I heard rationalizing. And I think so for David, who clearly is heartbroken. I mean, he had quadruple bypass. His heart is literally broken. But spiritually, it's broken through Ginger. Secondly, Ginger, she's retaliated through compulsive acts of behavior herself, through gambling, to the point where it's literally costed them food on the table. Yes. It's all fixable. It's all, it can all heal with time. But we have David, who's going to need to have the courage and ownership and motivation to get better. And we have Ginger, who's going to need to do the same thing if there's going to be any salvation to this relationship.
Mr. Sapp, Ms. Coffman, if you want to make a change, not just for the relationship, but for yourselves individually, it's going to take some work, and it's building back that foundation in the relationship. Mr. Sapp, do you think that you are ready to take that step to get some assistance in making yourself a whole human being?
I think I am.
You ready for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Coffman, would you be willing to take some of those steps yourself so that you can become a whole human being, or learn how to communicate, learn how not to do tit for tat when you're upset?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then try to rebuild a relationship once you are two whole human beings coming together. Is that what you both would desire?
Absolutely. I don't want to lose him.
I would like that.
Mr. Cohen, in light of the two of them saying that they are willing to do the work, is there anything that you can offer to them to help them with this work?
Yeah, Harmony Place offers the full continuum of care, from detox to residential to outpatient. There's a lot of individual therapy and group therapy that's part of the continuum. But to get this party started, I'd like to offer David some individual therapy, and I would like to offer the two of them at least one session with me to really do some deep diving into, things that aren't working and things that are.
And thank you so very much for that, Mr. Cohen, because I think that would be very helpful. That's how you start on the road to success. And your insight today has been wonderful for us. Thank you again. Mr. Sapp, Ms. Coffman, we'd like to help you take Mr. Cohen up on that offer to be your counselor to get you started on the path to recovery, both of you. Are you willing to accept, Mr. Sapp?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you willing to accept, Ms. Coffman?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Fantastic. This is what I like to do. We come in here with a problem, we work towards a solution, and we can't guarantee what the success is going to be, but we can guarantee we try. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Court's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Seriously about blowing the candle?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
So, Robert, addiction can really be damaging to a relationship. It definitely is damaging to the individual. I think these two people, though, at least the first step is recognizing it.
Absolutely. I mean, this is one of the few times that we actually had two addictive personalities. And they were doing the tit for tat, and they were both dealing with their own issues.
Right, and if you don't fix your own issue, then you're not going to be able to be your whole self in a relationship.
Exactly. Stop putting the blame on each other, and let's work together and get help.
Excellent advice.
Made in Georgia.